Hey folks, Joe Val here. Welcome to another episode of the Quiet Life Podcast. Today's guest is Shane Sams. He is a Quiet Light client. We've sold his business in 2016. He's referred many clients over to us. He's a former high school history teacher, former football coach. His wife was an educational elementary librarian. And they built a course to help other elementary librarians not have to work, 12-hour days. And they sold courses teaching them curriculum and things of this nature. It took them about 6 to 8 months before they were able to make more money selling courses and programs and helping people in the history education field and elementary education field before they were able to quit their jobs and make more money on a monthly basis than they did teaching. And since then, they've actually, I tell you what, Shane talks about it. He sold his elementary education program or website for $800,000. And he said, it would have taken me 36 years to make that much money as a history teacher. And I wouldn't have had any money left because I was living paycheck to paycheck. It's quite the success story. And now they own a company called Flip Lifestyle where they're helping other people not build businesses and flip them, but instead of work-life balance, it's life-work balance. They're helping people build businesses starting with less than $500 a month. And it's really education-oriented businesses. And they're very, very successful at it. It's very family-focused. It's all about lifestyle first, work second, focus on the family, not grinding it out, working 80 hours a week. It's a fascinating story. His story is fascinating. Some of the things that you're doing. They've had a lot of students that have built businesses and sold them through Quiet Light as well. Some you've heard on this podcast before. It's a great listen. If you have any inkling about starting an education program, whether it's raising chickens in your backyard or teaching football coaches how to run defensive plays, there's all sorts of ways to make money this way. So check it out. Here we go. Shane Sams from Flip Lifestyle. Here we go. Shane, welcome to the Quiet Life Podcast. How are you, man?
Joe, I've been looking forward to this one, man. I love you guys. So I'm glad to be here, dude.
Well, you've been around a while. You before we hit record, you're talking about working with Jason and selling your business. You're helping other people build businesses. You're referring them to us. We should have you on our website, right? In terms of about us, you should be there. Is that right?
I should be right there, and I'll just tell them, everybody just come here, and it'll all be okay. Everything will work out okay when you end up at Quiet Life. That's what I'm saying.
Everything will be okay. That's right. That's right. For those listening that don't know who you are, can you give us a little background, what your story is, that kind of stuff?
Sure, man. My name's Shane Sams. Born and raised and remain today in Southeast Kentucky. I actually used to be a school teacher. I wasn't an entrepreneur, wasn't a business owner, wasn't a coach. I used to be a school teacher. And dude, probably I would still be a school teacher, teaching U.S. history and coaching football if something crazy had not happened in my life. One day I actually found out that my son was being violently mistreated at his daycare center. There was some clues that had revealed themselves, but I didn't have the whole story, and I needed the day off work so that I could go investigate the situation. But the problem was the day had already started, and in this district I was in, it was almost impossible to get a sub when that happened. But I actually got my son out of this place, went and told my boss. I said, hey, I need to get the day off work. I know there's not any subs, whatever. Can you go watch my classroom till we sort this out? And my boss actually said to me, if your son's not in immediate danger right now, I can't help you. I know your son needs you, but your job needs you too. And you're going to have to handle your personal problems after work.
Easy decision. Goodbye. Right?
Goodbye. Yep. I got up and I said, thank God I didn't lose my job, but I did walk out that day because that would have been half my income, right? Like gone in a moment. But I did. I left and I made a promise to myself that day that I would never work for anybody again. I would find a way to control our own income, write my own checks. And that way I would never have to ask permission to be there for my family. And went through a lot of failures and starts and stops and didn't know anything about online business. And I heard about online business one day on a podcast. It was a podcast called the Smart Passive Income Podcast with Pat Flynn.
Yeah. Pat's a good guy.
Pat's a great guy. He's become a great coach, mentor to me. Still my coach to this day. He's my CEO coach. And I was just listening to his story about how he took knowledge inside his head, put it out in the world in like a PDF, and people paid him to email them this PDF, and it was called Online Business. So me and my wife, we go down this rabbit hole of looking up online business. How does it work? What can we do? And we settled in on really like focusing on what we were good at, which was teaching. And my wife started a business. She was also an educator. She was a librarian. She was an elementary school librarian. And people may not know this, but librarians have to teach like 6 classes a day. And every class is a different age group. So every class is a different prep for a different lesson. And, you know, I'm a history teacher. I'm teaching history 4 times a day. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. I say the same words over and over again. But for an elementary librarian, you got to spend an hour, 2 hours on every prep, 6 a day. You could be spending 12 hours just to plan the lessons for one day.
Wow. A lot of work.
And a lot of work, man. And we realized that, like, what if we could make lesson plans, put the classroom on autopilot for the librarian, and create bell-to-bell instructions? We could do it for them, and they could not have to plan the lessons. They could just teach. So we started this company called Elementary Librarian. It would later grow into, we have another website called US History Teachers. We started cookie cuttering this process, rinse and repeating it. But Elementary Librarian was the first one. And, you know, I only needed like $2,500 a month to replace my income. And Jocelyn made the same amount I did. So together we combined made $5,000 a month. So our theory was, there's 8 billion people on the planet. There's hundreds of thousands of these teachers and librarians. If we could just get 100 people to pay us $50 a month, we would replace our income and we could quit our jobs and work from home. So we started a podcast called the Elementary Librarian Podcast. And Jocelyn got like a couple hundred people listening to this thing. And we rolled out our lesson plan idea. We didn't even have it made, Joe. It was pre-launched. We just wrote an outline of what we were going to create. And wouldn't you know it, man, like 50 people bought it. We made $2,500 in that first email.
Beautiful.
And then it was unbelievable. We just freaked out because we like, gosh, we made money online. And so every month it kept growing. It went in November, it was like 5,000. July of the next year was $15,000 in a single month, which is like, that's only 300 people on the planet paying you.
Right.
So it wasn't like a huge
amount to you though, as former teachers.
Oh, to us?
That's 25% of what you made in a year.
Bro, we were making, I remember the first Christmas that we made $5,000 online, over $5,000, and we were making $5,000. So we had doubled our income, and it was our first 5-figure month. And my little girl was like, Daddy, can we go see Santa Claus this year? And I just looked at her and I was like, baby, he's bringing the whole bag. We ain't even gonna go talk to Santa Claus. I mean, we're good, right? So then in August of the next year, when we started our business, we made $36,000 in 1 month. It was our entire annual salary as a teacher.
Wow.
And that's when we were like, dude, we're gonna quit our jobs. Let's go. We launched that year two other businesses. One was called Coach XO. It was a football playbook company where we sold defensive playbooks, the specific defense to high school coaches who were losing, because it would help them win with less athletes. So that went really well. Our first launch made like $7,000 on that one, on top of what Elementary Librarian was doing. Then we launched US History Teachers. That comes out of the gate. We get a bunch of members in that. And we found this process that we could just repeat over and over and create knowledge-based businesses.
With each one of those, did you go with the same approach as the first one, which was, do the outline, see if there's interest and buyers, and then create the program? Yeah.
Yeah. We always created a little bit of content, got a little bit of audience. Maybe I would go guest on a podcast or something just to get some people to know about it.
Yeah.
And then we pre-launched, because why make a giant product that's not going to sell? It didn't make any sense to us to do that. Yeah. And also, nothing will light a fire to create your courses and trainings like taking people's money for a course that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
So it's good, very motivating.
Exactly.
Very motivating.
Exactly. I had a guest on the podcast a few months ago. He was German, and he gave us this analogy, and this plays right up, in terms of your alley and what you are as an entrepreneur. He said, if you've got 100 Americans and 100 Germans, and they're climbing to the highest peak of a mountain, the 99 Germans will get to the top, but the first one to the top will be the American. And
that's just brilliant.
It's because we're just like, okay, let's go. And that's the entrepreneur mindset. We don't fully think it through. We don't plan it out. Whereas German engineering, right? They're all really good, fine engineer thing.
I'm a ready, fire, aim guy.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's what I am.
That's
ready, fire, aim, baby. Yeah, man. So it was really good. We quit our jobs. We found a lot of freedom through that. And I was ready to like ride off into the sunset because we were creating passive income businesses. I mean, we were working maybe 2 to 4 hours a week on each business. It was not like we had to do a lot because I mean, I basically had to record a couple podcasts, release some content, and people came and bought, And then one of our friends, her name was Lindsay. She was like, "Hey, you all quit your jobs. Like, how did you do that?" And we were telling her about online business and we were showing her the companies we had created. And she was like, "Well, do you think I could make money online?" And we're like, "I guess, like, let us show you how." She wanted to stay home and homeschool her kids. That was her goal. And she did a bunch of different things and she went online and she created some stuff. And wouldn't you know it, she made enough money to quit her job. And she found this whole new avenue of life with online business and working at home and being able to homeschool her kids. And her and her husband basically were just like, wow, this really changed our life. And it was funny. We were going out to a mastermind with Pat Flynn out in San Diego. And we had this idea right after we helped Lindsay. We were like, I wonder if we could help other people because you know how this world is, man. Like there's all the Cardones and Tim Ferrisses and Gary V's and all these people that are like these crazy things that they're saying. And we were kind of like, we're just a couple of kids from Kentucky, man. We're just like, we did this working full time and raising kids. I wasn't trying to make anybody $10 million. I just wanted you to replace your income and have choices. So like we thought, could we help other people? And we went out and talked to Pat about it. And he really helped us come up with the idea for Flipped Lifestyle, our vibe, like how we help people. Like, we were so worried when we launched this business that people would judge us because of our accents and stuff and all that, am I expert enough kind of nonsense that we all go through.
Oh yeah.
And but he really helped us do that. And we launched Flipped Lifestyle and it just out of the gate blew up, man. We had like 120 people join our membership, like the very first webinar we ever did.
But you weren't working 2 to 4 hours a week anymore. It sounds like Flipped Lifestyle is not a passive income stream, or am I dead wrong?
No. It's kind of, I mean, I've got a big team now, so I'm not doing everything. I mean, I try to keep all my workload below 20 hours if I can. That's my goal. I usually work between 10 and 3. And then like we take the kids, like this morning, I took the kids to school. Me and Jocelyn went for a walk, grabbed a coffee at the coffee shop, came here, talked to you. I got a few more things to do. I'll pick the kids up at 3:00. But it's definitely not. But I actually learned something through Flipped Lifestyle and my other companies. I got really bored when we were doing the 4-hour work week kind of stuff. I mean, I took Tim Ferriss to Heartbroke and I said, I'm going to do this. And I got bored and there was no purpose. There was nothing in it. And I realized that like life is more about finding the thing you want to work 40 hours on, not about removing work. I think the goal of removing work comes from everyone hates their job and they're just trapped.
Yeah.
So you think that the 4-hour work week is what you want, but no, you want something with purpose and mission and drive. It's like, I'm obsessed with it. I can't stop thinking about it. And that's what Flipped Lifestyle kind of became to us. Now, what's funny is how we came to you guys was when Flipped Lifestyle took off, we were about, I don't know, 5 years out of our jobs. And Jocelyn wasn't a librarian anymore. I wasn't a football coach anymore. I wasn't a history teacher anymore. And we were like, we should go all in on this thing that's bringing purpose and scale to our life. We should probably do something else, but I don't want these to die. These are beautiful things that we've created. And that's when we decided to look to sell elementarylibrarian.com. It was the biggest of the 3 companies at the time. And we wanted to invest that forward into our new business venture. So I think we just found you guys like out of a blog article or a podcast or something. And it was the first person we called was Jason.
Jason Yellowitz.
Yeah, man.
I was telling, for those that don't know, Jason was my broker as well back in 2010 when I sold my business.
Wow.
So how long ago was it that you sold Elementary Librarian?
I think we started the process in 2016. We came in, Jason coached us up. You guys were great on like, you need to do X, Y, Z to make it really sellable and get your maximum value out of it. So we did a few of those things. We started negotiating in like 2017, I think. Which I have a hilarious story about that. I'll tell you about in a minute. When we were doing that. And it was really fast. I mean, we went through all the interview processes, had some great offers, talked it through of who was going to take care of the business we thought the best. And really super smooth, man.
So you had multiple offers. You got to choose your buyer.
Well, yeah, we did. We actually it was funny because so we were asking 1.1 million is what we really wanted to get out of it. Right. And the contract was written that way. It was like we got 800,000 down. Then there was a buyout for 2 or 3 years or something. You know how it goes when you structure a deal.
Not bad for a couple of teachers.
Not bad for a couple of schools. It would have taken me 36 years to make that much money as a school teacher.
You've done the math. You've told this story before.
I've done the math. Yes, 36 years, and I wouldn't have had any left because I was living paycheck to paycheck. But it was funny that one of the first guys we got on, I'll keep it a little vague, but like it was like a guy from another country, and he had this really thick accent.
Okay, yeah,
and he was telling us all these crazy stories about like how he had started amusement parks and all this stuff. And it was so funny because I'm a guy from Kentucky that was literally calling football plays on the top of a high school press box. And now I'm negotiating with this foreign guy on how to buy a website. And he offered cash. He offered cash for it. And then like we had like 3 or 4 really good offers. And it was just such an interesting process to go through that situation and hear different how it all works. But then we can't pay him with this company that was just a great company. They kind of collected education websites and really liked what we did. It was very unique, and they said, "Yeah, we'll buy it." So
are they still running it today?
Cool. You know, I think that they resold it. I think that that's what they do. They come in, they fix it up, they make it, and I think they resold it. And now there's a company. It's still there though. It's still running and still going strong, man. But I think another company owns it now.
Yeah. So with Flip Lifestyle, like, what type of people are you helping? I mean, are they people that are trying to leave the, I want to say, corporate world or blue collar world and do this as a side hustle first, or what's the typical client?
You know, it started out really being families who were working full time with school age kids. That's kind of who we were. But our message really resonates with a whole lot of people, especially as we've gotten more bona fides and chops in the entrepreneur world. And you know, like I speak now on stages. I was in LA that, you know, a few weeks ago talking to 9,000 people, you know. So as our profile elevated, more people came. But I would say the majority of people are people who are sick of the, you know, hustle culture entrepreneurs, the people telling you got to work 80 hours a week. And if you're not doing that, you're not a good business owner and all this stuff. It's definitely people who want freedom. I would say our general demographic is probably like 30 to 60. I'd say most people are working jobs and they want to leave their jobs. We have a lot of side hustle people. A lot of entrepreneurs now are realizing even if you own a real world business, you need online revenue if you're going to survive in this current economy. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of taking people who already have businesses and adding on membership revenue where they got recurring revenue they can predict 6 months in advance, kind of stuff like that. You know, people who are really family focused. We have a really family focus. One of my taglines is we don't have, it's not work-life balance, it's life-work balance. We go life first. Flip Lifestyle is, the concept is we want to do everything opposite of what we were taught growing up. So the world says you got to have one person write you a check. No, I say you get 1,000 people to pay you $50 a month. The world says work comes first and work-life balance. We flip it upside down and we say life-work balance. So we really focus on structuring time. Time is a big thing we coach on, of how to build a business where you can go pick your kid up off the school bus, you know?
This is,
it's been really good, man.
This is why you and Jason got along so well. Jason is so efficient with his time.
Yeah, man.
You know, I think he makes more per hour than anybody I've ever met. Well, not quite anybody. Well, no, I haven't met Bill yet.
It's the only resource it's the only resource you can't get back. And I think that's what people miss is like money is an exchange of energy. That's really what money is. Money is a physical representation of time spent. Mm. And like when we make money, it's not just to buy us things, it's to buy us time. Like that's what we want. That's why like our company, we actually have a bunch of employees, but like it's, you know, full time here is 35 hours. That's it. That extra 5, get out of here. You don't want that. Like we got to figure something out where those people are living the Flip lifestyle just like me and Jocelyn are. Yeah. So we eat it, breathe it, sleep it. I mean, we drink our own Kool-Aid around here, man.
That's great.
With our team.
That's great. And it brings in people that are like-minded as your students, I guess, right? They're called students. Look, I've been, I stopped using it as much, grinding it out as an entrepreneur since 1997. And it's exhausting, right? You wake up in the middle of the night thinking about what you got to do and who you're responsible for and that kind of stuff, and flipping
it's too much. It's too much for humans. Like one of the things I learned, and somebody out there is like, no, man, you can't do that. Like when I have an appointment, it's for an hour, even if it's 15 minutes, because like I can't have all, like right now, like if me and you are doing this podcast, my team knows don't ever schedule back-to-back podcasts because there's only so much we're made and really supposed to do. I can do it. Like I could do 10 back-to-back podcasts in a day, but then like, am I showing up for myself in my personal life? Am I showing up for my spouse? Am I showing up for my kids? I take a day off anytime I go on a speaking trip the day after because, I want to be there for my kids. I never take red eyes. I know people are freaking out about getting red eyes and all this stuff. And I'm like, nah, man, because when I show up, I'm going to be tired. I'm just going to get up in the morning and have a coffee and fly home. And at 3:00, I'll see my kids and they're not three of them because they're so blurry because I'm tired from the red eye. So yeah, man, I'm big on that, dude.
I'll agree with that. Although the first time I took a red eye, I slept like a baby, and I thought, this is awesome. I'm always going to do this. And
dude, I caught the bulkhead, bro. The first time I ever did one, I was like, oh, this is terrible. I'm never doing this.
Well, the next time I slide into the seat, the guy next to me, says something, and I said, it's not an issue. I'm going to sleep all night. I didn't sleep a wink. And he let me know that I didn't sleep a wink. He was like, yeah, you didn't really, he was kind of cocky about it, but I haven't taken a red eye since. So I feel you there.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely. Now get up and get home, dude. So that's who we draw in. And like we're really big on culture with our brand. Like you said something about drawing like-minded people. We really do draw a lot of like-minded people. We draw from all walks of life, but like I learned something a couple years ago one of the things we did with the money from the sale is we started hiring people, and I made some mistakes of hiring. And I realized like, why don't I just hire my successful students? And now my entire team is basically, I think 90% of my team is built on people who went through our program and launched a business and made money. And now so my director of fulfillment, his name's Stephen Faust. He's got an awesome business where he helps non-commissioned officers get promotions in the military. It's a really cool little side business. He got to that business to 6 figures working 2 hours a week. And he sent me an email and said, I'm bored. Can I come work with you? And like he joined my team because his business was only a couple hours a week. And I was like, oh, I'm onto something here. Like I just started reaching out to everybody that looked bored because their business was doing so well. And I just hired them. And now they're like my coaches and my directors. And it's amazing.
That's
it's
brilliant.
An unbelievable team.
It's kind of the model here. Everybody at Quiet Light's bought and sold their own online business and now help others as well. So yeah, having people that have gone through your program and course makes a whole lot of sense. How tell me about the program. I pulled up the site. I'm looking at some of the things here. You've got a podcast, you've got a whole bunch of different stuff. But if I resign from Quiet Light and I want to start my own business, ain't going to happen, by the way. What am I going to learn? What am I going to do? Where do I start? Do I get you?
I'm very convincing, Joe. I'm very convincing. I might have you here in about 5 minutes starting something. Well, we can at least start stuff and you can sell them over and over. So what happens is, we have a free podcast. I come out every Tuesday. We have a big podcast where I actually coach people on air. Got a YouTube channel. So all the general marketing channels to get audience and things like that. If you join our program, you go into a course that we call the Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint. So this is the exact step-by-step process that me and Jocelyn use to start all of our businesses, that all of our successful students are starting their businesses. And it's really this like ever evolving, ever growing thing. It started out with like 8 to 10 courses, and just basically over the last few years, I think we've recorded like the answers to over 2,000 questions. We've got when anyone asks for a product, if it's not there, we create it. And we just built this amazing step-by-step thing where it's like, start here, do this video, take action, now do the next video. But the heartbeat of what we do is called the Flipped Lifestyle Community. Jocelyn and I realized that our journey was hard because we were alone in Kentucky. There just were no online entrepreneurs. So we actually have a community of thousands of online entrepreneurs who are meeting every single week. We have an online forum, but we also have 15 live calls that happen every week. You can come to one, you can come to two, you come to as many as you want, but they're all different themes. Like we have women's calls, men's calls. And basically we've created a community where you're never alone. There's always somebody to talk business with 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in our community.
That's so important.
And then you got to have it. Like we actually call it the community most of the time. We don't really call it the program because the community is what makes the magic happen. The process is the process, but follow the process, but the accountability comes from your community. And then we have one-on-one coaching. All of my coaches are people who have built full-time incomes online with our program. I think 2 of the 4 or 6-figure entrepreneurs are themselves. And that's designed for that one-on-one help to guide you through the blueprint. So you can sit down one-on-one and talk to people. Everything's based on that. And then I do Q&As like once a month. I'll do an all call where I'll come in and I'll do a Q&A as well. And then there's a VIP group that you can work with me too. So the whole process is basically just immersive, like become a part of this community, get inspired by the other people in the community. Like we have hundreds of documented success stories. There's people every week celebrating successes, launching podcasts, launching businesses. So it's just this dynamo where people can come in and be a part of something bigger than themselves. We view it as a movement. And yeah, it just works, man. Our stuff just works. Like if you do the blueprint and you show up, good things are going to happen. And our goal is to help 100,000 families do what we did. I'd say we're somewhere between 6 to 8 right now, I think.
6 to 8,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our community, like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, with let's say e-commerce fuel there, it's a community for, physical products, and then there's, specific things for Amazon, specific things for content or SaaS. What is the most started type of business with the Flipped Lifestyle?
We only teach education style businesses, courses, coaching, and communities. It's very based on a lot of our mentalities. Like, our mentality coming out was we wanted something low capital risk. We didn't want to have to invest tens of thousands of dollars into something. So e-commerce was ruled out. We wanted to create stable, predictable revenue because we wanted a paycheck, right? From coming out of, we didn't want to be like a one-hit wonder.
So monthly subscriptions.
It's monthly subscriptions. That's what we teach. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. People do, like, there is a value ladder like we teach. Like there is the monthly subscription is the core offer. But then, like, we teach people how to offer high ticket coaching on top of that to help the 20% of the people that want that. Course sales are drop down. So we teach people how to do that. But it's very much work once, get paid forever on your course style, create evergreen content when you can. The community, build communities. We teach people how to build like-minded communities. Like you may teach people, like I got a guy named Kenny Troiano, and he lives out in San Diego. And he came into our community and he was like, guys, I love chickens. And I'm like, you love chickens? He goes, yeah, I love chickens, man. I raise chickens in my backyard and I'm in San Diego. And I'm I consider myself one of the world leading experts on breeding backyard chickens. And I want to start a membership for other people who raise backyard chickens. Do you think I can make money off of chickens? And I was like, well, I'm from Kentucky and Colonel Sanders made a whole lot of money eating chickens. So I bet you can make some money raising chickens. And so let's figure it out. So he starts a podcast, just like we teach, a podcast, a membership community where other backyard chicken farmers can come together. And dude's making like $110,000, $120,000 a year right now just on a chicken membership. So it's just, that's the concept, is take what you already love, you already learned, you've already lived through, figure out how your story can be your marketing. We teach people how to tell their story. Look back behind you for people who are 2 or 3 chapters behind in the journey, okay? And go help them. Go help as many of them as you can. Listen, there's 8 billion people on the planet. You need like 200 of them to pay you $100 a month, and you're making ridiculous amounts of money. So go do that. That's all you got to do. So everything's based on that. It's pulling those ideas out of people and then teaching them how to turn it into a membership product, and then teaching them how to get recurring revenue, start building it brick by brick. Once you get 100 people paying you every month, add some high tickets so you can really blow the ceiling off of the revenue, and you're off to the races, and you don't have to take a paycheck.
It's funny. We help people exit businesses, obviously, but we've had Walker on the podcast, who is one of our advisors who wrote Buy Then Build. His approach is that, it's much less risky to buy a business than it is to build a business. Whereas Amanda, who's been around as long as I have, she's all about starting them. She'd rather start one versus buy one. I've bought one. It didn't work out so well. I've started all of my businesses in the past because I was golfing with Uncle Walter at one point, and he was brokering a lumber yard for $500,000 or something like that. I'm thinking to myself, seriously, for 50 grand, I can really put my heart and soul and whatever into this other business and make a whole lot more money than that guy that's going to buy that lumber yard, and with much more flexibility. But that was 50 grand, and I had it to lose. How much does a typical student of yours come to the table with? What kind of risk are we talking about? Financial risk in terms of getting started?
Now, besides what we charge for code, like for example, like I would say for $500 a month, you can start a really successful online business. We did it cost me and Jocelyn probably about $1,000 back in the day, but like now, like for example, the website, the email marketing, all that, like you can get a product like Kajabi, which is a platform where you can build your website, you can do your email marketing, you can build sales funnels, you can manage your contacts. That's $150 a month.
Kajabi. I've never heard of it. Spell that for me.
Kajabi.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the platform that we recommend to all of our students. We are a Kajabi partner, by the way. But like it's the best platform we can find that does everything that everyone needs. So $150 a month, you're off to the races. I mean, you're ready to go. Now it's just a matter of, can you consistently create content? Can you be prolific with social media? Just post every day. And like, can you be relentless? Like when you get a customer, really serve them and get them results. Because if you get 3 or 4 testimonials, you can make $1 million because that's social proof that your thing works more than once. So like, other than that, man, I mean, you might have like a couple other tools online. Of course, if you want to join our program or something like that, you know, if you join anything like that, there's going to be monthly cost of that, anywhere from $50 to $200 a month, depending on what you're doing. So less than $500, man, you can go out there. So it's a really low risk opportunity. And it also lets people equip their passion and their work and their elbow grease a little bit better than other things. And you don't have to order the, you know, freaking shipping container from China full of, you know, dolls that you have to sell on Amazon or anything like that. There's no basements full of inventory. There's no equity that anyone else has. It's literally just like, here's your thing. Here's your story. Put it out to the world like me and you are doing right now, and let the algorithms take care of the rest. If you want to put ads into it, like we have some people that have a little extra money, so they might spend $500 to $1,000 on ads. So, you know, when you look at it in comparison to any other business, you can't start a business anywhere else for $500 a month. You just can't do it.
No, you know? not unless you're going to mow lawns for a living.
Yeah. I mean, then the history site that we run, I'll tell you, but the Elementary Librarian, dude, the expenses on that business when we sold it were probably like $2,000 a month.
Wow.
Right. And that business sold for over $1 million.
No wonder you had multiple offers.
I know.
That's the beautiful thing about this. The margins are amazing. Whereas, you know, if you're selling physical products, if you're at 20%, you're doing really, really well. Here, it's probably flipped.
Our goal is somewhere settle out between 50 and 60% profit, because what I found was we can do 80%. I mean, we can easily do that if we want to, but like, you know, you want to hire employees, you want to have some people to take some of the workload off of you eventually. You want to run ads, you want to do marketing, maybe you do some affiliates and you give people a cut, right? So we found like a really beautiful place to be is try to be at somewhere between 50 and 60% margins. You know, if you're making $100,000, you're keeping 60 of it. That's amazing, right?
That's great.
So like go out there and do that. That's how we teach it.
I like it. For those out there that are thinking about buying an online business, I know you're looking at Quiet Lights listings. Keep looking, but go to Flip Lifestyle as well, right? FlipLifestyle.com. Is that it, Shane?
Yep, FlipLifestyle.com. And actually, if you want, if they go to FlippedLifestyle.com/quiet, what I'll do is I'll put some resources there. Like one, I'll put my podcast with Jason to talk about the process of me selling my business.
Excellent.
We've actually had you guys sell some of our students' businesses as well. So I can drop a couple podcasts there if people want to listen about how their journey about selling their business as well too. And I've actually also got a little training that I do about selling our business and what to do after you sell your business. So you don't end up like one of those lottery ticket winners. You know what I mean? So I got a ton of resources for everybody out there that's looking to sell their business and anything like that, man. Yeah. And highly recommend you guys too. This is a shameless plug. I'm not being paid to do this. Like, I guess we've been together now. I mean, we've been working with your guys' team since 2016. And it's just always so smooth and so fun. And it's the easiest recommendation I give on any monthly basis is to check you guys out if people are looking to sell. So awesome stuff. That's
awesome. I appreciate it. I think everybody that is building or buying or selling a business, check out fliplifestyle.com. Sounds like you can learn an awful lot, especially if you're in the SaaS or physical product business and you want to look at some recurring revenues that, you know, are more educational oriented. Shane, appreciate your time, man. Look forward to continuing working with you over the next few years.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you, man.